Well, hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of the day it is that you are watching. It is great to have you tuning in again with us via this link. I know it's a recording, but it's still as good as if you were there. So the fact that you've taken time to click on this short recording of our monthly webinars really touches us deeply. So thank you for the time that you set aside and the commitment and passion that you show for being committed to growing in your knowledge with Dermo 28 and overall in your skin practices that you will offer or are currently offering your current clients. Happy New Year. This is the first one for 2020. We have some great things in store, and I know there's a great year in store for you as well. So today's topic is all about take a look around. It's winter, hydration and pH balance. That is, ladies and gentlemen, the missing link of optimal skin health. My name is Charmaine Cooper, and I'm honored to be with you today again to take you through a short and concise, we don't have an actual demonstration today, but I'm going to be sharing some concise information that many of you may have heard, may have possibly forgotten, or may really want to add to your repertoire of education so that you can also in turn inform and educate your clients. So that's what we're all here about, and we are offering support to you in that regard. So let's jump on in and let's get started. So I really want to remind you again that although this is the first webinar of the year, our goal is to have one at least monthly. That's our best efforts. And our next one's already locked and loaded, ready and waiting for you. All you need to do is once I email you is to register on the link. It's going to be happening at the end of February. And this one is one of my near and dear favorites. We're going to whip out the treatment bed again. We haven't done that in maybe about 2 webinars. So we're going to whip out the bed treatments again. And I'm going to be showing you all I know and a lot of open flexibility within professional tips and tricks. Yes, the products that you know and love, I'm going to be showing you different ways of using them, reminding you of some of the ones you may already know, but I think I'm going to be offering some newer information as well. So you don't want to miss this to ramp up your results in the treatment room and to ramp up your results when you're also recommending home care for your clients and how they can customize and really help to maximize the results in their home care so that they're mirroring and really complementing your hard efforts in the treatment room. Okay, so that's happening February 28th. Make sure that when you check out the email, you link and click on the link below and go ahead and register. You'll be all set and ready to go. Okay, so let's jump into hydration. It is the middle of winter. I know we've had kind of a touch and go winter, at least here in Toronto. If you're watching from somewhere else in the world, maybe you don't have winter, but you probably do experience pollution, some winds, some fluctuation in the climate. And I'll tell you, whether you're in a winter for seasonal country or city. And if you're in Toronto, we are experiencing winter from extreme to mild, and it's putting our skin through the ringer. Living and enjoying winter is a part of the Canadian life. It is a part of the North American life. And we have to understand that your clients are going to get out there and get involved. They are going to be doing things with the kids. We just finished the great Christmas season. They were out there. And as we approached closing to the end of the season, you will notice that there's going to be fluctuation in the skin. What does that mean in North America? What does that mean by playing in the snow, shoveling the driveway, cleaning our cars, and also de-icing our sidewalks? What does all that mean to us? Well, it's going to show up in something that we call pH alterations. Yes, so pH, as a reminder for those of us who remember this in our classes, stands for potential for hydrogen. So hydration in your skin. And you know the whole pH scale, we're not going to go into that today for today's particular webinar, but I do want to remind us that there are very legitimate outcomes from having alterations in our pH. And we're going to go through that right now. First and foremost, we know there's a whole world of intrinsic factors that we have to take into consideration. For instance, how much sweat quality you have if you are working out. I know when I was training for a few years ago, I did two Don't ask me to do it again. 2 half marathons. I trained for the whole year from January all the way till about November. And I did 2 in that year. My knees paid for it, trust me. But my skin went through the ringer and I was sweating a lot. Plus I was out in that harsh cold, icicles on my lashes and everything. But because I was sweating, I was releasing more moisture and I wasn't ramping up on my moisture while I was jogging, while I was working out outside, training for my marathons. It also has a lot to depend on the lactic acid content in the body and your age and gender. If you are a younger skin, we produce more moisture naturally. Something that I recently shared with one of the groups that I was training not too long ago is that, you know, men, we love you, but women got kind of the shorter end of the stick. Men are born with 60% more moisture than women. It's the legitimate fact of life. They also have the tendency to produce more oil. And with that, we understand that a male skin actually has the potential to holding on to more moisture than a woman's skin. If you are younger, you produce more. As we get older, all of our production of everything starts to slow down. So that is something we have to bear in mind. So when you're talking about pH alterations and your client will say, oh no, I'm good, I take care of my skin, just because she's getting older and also because she may be a female, we know that we need to double check and make sure that she's on par and or he is also doing everything in their capable possibility to be able to optimize skin health. And that's your role and my role as skin coaches. There are, however, external factors to play. The climate, so winter, North America, Toronto, pollution. Pollution actually adheres to the skin, to our makeup ladies, to our oil gentlemen, and it actually robs the skin of its health. It actually finds its way, microscopic particles, into the mouth of the follicles, and it starts to distort the health, the optimal oil levels, the moisture levels, the structural integrity of the skin. Contributes to aging too, but it does impact our pH balance. We're going to get into a little bit more shortly. Nutrition and medication. If you've been ill, if you aren't eating your full scope of amino acids, your diets are imbalanced, that's going to show up as well. Remember, we focus on skin health, but we also are that skin coach to help our client know that it's a holistic approach. Remind them of the eating habits that they should already be aware of. Also, skin stripping products. That's huge for you, huge for me. We've got to be able to be those skin detectives and find out from our clients' consultation, conversation with them, what are they using? Are they using soap? Are they using harsh sulfate focused cleansers that strip away the natural pH? pH is going to determine the defense of the skin, the antibacterial property of the skin, and the skin's ability to hold on to moisture. So these alterations, we've got to lock in the back of our mind and have really at our fingers' length, ready to be able to offer solutions and also to educate and inform our clients. The truth really is, in the end game, the skin is really the one that's suffering. We may seem like we're getting away with it at first because we've got youth on our side, because we've got good genetics, but that's only going to take us so far. Intrinsic aging is beautiful. I know if you've got good genes, but if you don't got good genes, what do you do? And even if you do have good genes, it's only going to last you so far. Prevention is always the better upper advantage in skincare, and you want to share that with your clients. The skin is suffering. It has a perfect memory, and it banks all of the assaultive aggression that's in the air, in the environment, in our habits. It banks it, so to speak. And then it's time to make a withdrawal when you want healthy skin in your 30s and your 40s. You're noticing, oh, what's happening? Even your mid to late 20s, you start to see that the skin has suffered as a result. So this is our challenge to our clients, that we partner together to help them get the upper advantage. Let's understand why the skin suffers though, because this is going to also help us to educate the client. What's really happening beneath the skin surface? So the whole idea of skincare, the whole objective of healthy skincare is to balance oil and water. You've heard it. It's like the playlist on repeat. balance the skin between oil and water. If something is out of equilibrium, there are going to arise different skin conditions. So our natural moisturizing factor is something that we're born with, but it declines with age. It's found not only just in our skin, but it's also found within other parts of our body, different organs, and throughout the entire uh, uh, skeletal framework. It's actually in our bones as well. So that's why osteoporosis and all that stuff. And when you start to develop a little bit of joint pain, it's because the moisture is starting to go as we age. Another aspect is, this is huge, if you can kind of make a mental circle here, natural sebum. Our body doesn't produce water, it produces sebum. And this is actually a good thing. So those of you who are oily out there, and those of your clients who are like, I hate my oil, you want them to appreciate it because it actually helps to preserve their skin. Check this out. You've got components of cholesterol, sulfatase, triglycerides, and fatty acids that make up and comprise your natural lipids in the skin. These are protective antibacterial, if you can believe it or not, antibacterial components in our skin. And when they mingle with the natural moisturizing factor, it gives you an antibacterial defense line, it gives you a protective shield, and it actually wards off from moisture evaporation. We want to hold on to the water, right? We want our clients to be able to hold on to their youthful, radiant appearance. As I mentioned, if that equilibrium is off, that's when skin conditions start to show up like nobody's business. And our goal then is to fix it. But how better could it be if we help to educate the client to prevent it, to maintain the good, and then to fix when we need to? We want it, again, to be a partnership. So here's a little bit of a visual. This is where we're going to take a look at really healthy versus a damaged hydrolipid film. Hydration with lipids. That's your hydrolipid film. On your far left, you're going to see a healthy, normal skin. Note that the skin is shielded, everyone. You can see that there's that pink dot right across the top. That stands for your hydrolipid film. And it's going to, believe it or not, lock in the moisture underneath. Those blue dots, those little driplets, are your moisture content. But you can see the keratinocyte cells. Because there's enough moisture in between those cells, because we've locked it in with hydrolipid film, we are going to have a better success rate of getting other active, delicious ingredients into the skin. In fact, the skin is going to receive it with wide open arms. Bring it in. It's going to pull it deeper into the deeper layers of the skin. That's what we want when we're using a variety of Dermo 28 products and formulas. Let's jump onto the other side. You knew I was going there. So look at the damaged skin. This speaks of so many of us. We've been through this as professionals ourselves and our clients also. So check out all the gaps, all the micro gaps in the hydrolipid film. There are literal micro fissures or tears that are not shielding the skin. The cells disadhere. They're not as close and compacted as they should be, which is a healthy structure. And you're going to notice those red dots, because we're not able to hold on to the moisture, the blue dots, moisture evaporates through those gaps and the bad things get in. They travel in, irritate, damage, age, and actually stimulate bacteria formation, infection even. It can actually even get to the place of disorders and diseases in the skin. This is like no joke. Did you actually know that some germs and sicknesses and illnesses are transferred by entry into the skin? If the skin is not shielded, it actually is a medium to receive sickness and illness. So this is a very real deal. And when it pertains to our client's skin, we want to be able to help not only have them achieve beautiful, healthy, radiant skin, but we also want to prevent any further damage and even diseases and disorders from occurring in the skin. That's what a cosmeceutical brand does. Cosmetics enhances the beautifying of the skin, which we want, and it's also going to adjust the structural integrity of the physiological structure of the skin. Hope you like that visual. It kind of helps me. I'm a visual learner too. So let's check out what's in our client's roster. Let's do that thorough consultation before we even get into any of our products. I'm going to be sharing some tips here. But Is the client using specially denatured alcohols? Are they using those harsh stripping alcohols? I know, the ones that feel so good on an oily skin. I can talk confidently about that because I was that client. I have been oily my whole life, not so much now that I'm older, but I have noticed that I used to love, crave even, that tight feeling, that soapy alcohol feeling. Some acne skins will actually get to the desperate point of literally taking cotton and wiping alcohol and disinfectant alcohol, 70% alcohol on their skin. That is totally compromising the skin's health, totally stripping the hydrolipid film, and all of what we just talked about in the previous slide is then in full gear and active. Look at the next one. I've got a little asterisk here. Rinsing water. Rinsing water actually shifts the skin's natural pH closer to alkalinity. You remember from your classes that a healthy skin needs to be on the acid mantle of that pH scale. So that's anywhere between 4.5, sometimes to 6.5, but usually in that range. As soon as we jump to 7, which water, rinsing water, brings it to a 7, it actually starts to get it off its ideal level of pH balance. And the skin is vulnerable, it's open, it's dilated, it's susceptible to other ingredients that we don't want to get in there. In fact, when the skin is closer to alkalinity, which soaps do in harsh cleansers, it makes it vulnerable, it makes it resistant, and it also makes it resistant to healthy products, healthy ingredients, but it also makes it compromised and intolerant and sensitive. Watch for your different types of water, whether in Vancouver where the water is a lot softer, or if you're here in Toronto or in the Atlantic, which is, East Coast in Canada. The water does change as well, but nonetheless, it does bring it to a 7. Harsh climate, we talked about the weather, but think about summer, not just winter. Think about harsh rains and, the pollution. So those things definitely do contribute also. My last one is my favorite because I experienced this a lot when I was in my practice. When I was working with my clients, I saw a lot of over-processing of the skin. What do I mean by that? I mean, she loves getting her peels with you. And she loves going everywhere else. She is the peel fanatic. She is the microdermabrasion and laser and microneedling, and she goes everywhere. She's over processing her skin, and plus she's ordered on Amazon this home little peel kit, and she's doing what she got at the home show, and everything that her girlfriend is recommending. She's doing it all. And that skin, you can tell if it's over processed when it's shiny, not radiant. I'm talking like a plastic shine. Those are some of the telltale signs. You can see it's shiny, but it has no elasticity. There's a tightness, but it's over-processed and it's thinned. When the skin is thinned, it doesn't have the wherewithal to produce more balance of natural moisturizing factor and your lipids. So she's over-processed. She may not tell you that, but you've got to be able to be that skin detective to be able to see the telltale signs in the skin. So let's take a look at the impacts of imbalanced pH at any age, because you could be young, you could be middle-aged, you could be what you claim to be older. I'm older, and imbalanced pH impacts everybody, all walks of life. So acne, congestion, skin, or younger skin, or even someone who does wrestle with a lot of oil, it's going to lead to more bacteria formation, more blackheads, and more thickening of the skin texture because the skin is not desquamating as it ought to. In a skin that's more of your normal combination, tightness, flakiness, you're going to see in the next level where it just slips right into that, a sallow, dull looking skin. Have you ever noticed that some individuals, they just like, well, I used to have that radiance, but I don't know what's wrong, and maybe it's my moisturizer. It could be, but we need to find out, is she using pH stripping products, or is she pH balancing her skin? Because that's going to help everything to self-adjust. Uneven skin tone, it contributes to pigmentation. It even can advance signs of aging if the dehydration and imbalance in the pH is chronic enough, ladies and gentlemen, it can actually expedite the compromise of collagen and elastin formation and the network. Why? Because the moisture is being robbed from the skin, and collagen and elastin work with a fluidity of moisture. When the moisture is deficient, it stiffens, cross-links, and it collapses. End result, you'll get a deeper line, or we call it a solar scar in the protocol world, but it really is a deep line and deep wrinkle. That's how they start, from the inside out, not the outside in. So pH, we can see, is affecting everything. And it's also impeding the qualitative levels of sebum that we need. Remember the triglycerides, the sulfatase, the cholesterol. Some of those sound familiar to the foods that you're eating. So remember, yes, we want to eat our healthy fats, because that also helps to contribute to healthy skin. So my question is, take a look at this beautiful young lady, but a regular client that we probably will or have seen. How do we change this skin, everybody, with what we have just said? How do we change this skin into this skin? Look at that radiance. Yes, I know there's a backlight there, but work with me. How do we achieve this even glow of hydration, supple, youthful looking skin? Well, that's not hard. You've clicked into this webinar because you already know how we do that. But I just wanted to give us a backdrop to show that there is an ability to shift this client, believe it or not, to this client. The answer is simple. We want to, making mental notes again, optimize and control delivery into the skin. I'll say that one more time. We want to optimize, augment the effectiveness of, and control the bad stuff out, good stuff in, delivery of things into the skin. So that means we need to be those safeguards to safeguard our safeguard. And our safeguard in our skin is the pH balance and hydration. So let's take a look at one of the problems. So a damaged, or AKA dehydrated skin, is stripped skin, and it has it's lost its first line of defense. Remember, the first line of defense is going to be antibacterial, antimicrobial. Microbes are everywhere. There's no point in sanitizing your hands like crazy. You're going to get microbes. It's everywhere. And it's where your defense is. So if those are compromised, you know what's happening. You're going to get the opposite of what we want to achieve. There's going to be infection. There's going to be invasion. There's going to be itch. There's going to be flushing and blushing. There's going to be lackluster in the skin. So what do you do as a professional? We want to encourage our clients to stop using stripping cleansers. Stop right now. So no more soaps. You want to introduce them to, yes, they might like foaming cleansers. I'm a foam cleanser myself. There are options in Dermo 28 that do lather and do foam that aren't just for acne, but we also have cleansers for all skin that are milk-oriented cleansers, plus a brand new cleanser that we've launched that some of you are already aware of. And we want to make sure that we shift her first step into the right step. That starts with cleanser. Double cleansing always. Remember, remove the makeup, then cleanse the skin. We also want a pH balance with a non-alcoholic toner. Every time you rinse, remember that shifting of the pH. So toners are essential. Now we've got pH regulatory here, which is one of our fan faves. You know that you can use this in conjunction with, we're going to go there, our crema acida, but for an acneic skin, this can also double up, or even oily, as their toner. So no alcohol, that's going to strip the skin, but enough astringency to remove excess bad fat from the skin. And of course, you want to restore the defense in the skin and fight against microbes and bacteria. In addition to that, we know the pH is huge, but we also want to ensure that the moisture level is ideal for the receiving of effective, good ingredients into the skin. So when we have adequate moisture in the skin, everyone, it's effective as a carrier through the cell delivery into the skin, uninterrupted. That's what happens when the skin is hydrated. Just think, if you are planting, I've used this example for some of you already, and I've shared this in other classes and other webinars. If you are a planter, I'm not a green thumb, but if you are, you're not just going to put a seed in a dry ground. You're going to plow up the ground, prepare it. You're going to ensure that you fertilize it, nourish it, and you're going to put the seed in and water it. So you want to ensure that the skin is ready to receive. If it's dry, tight, and compromised, it's resisting, even good stuff. And how you can tell is when it screams, when it stings, when it tingles. It's like, we don't know this. We're not used to this. That will take time for us to work a client through, but that's so important because the skin gets traumatized. But we can get rid of the trauma and drama with a little bit of TLC. Also, we want to encourage cell renewal. I cannot say enough, everyone, exfoliation, you know, is absolutely paramount. I know you know this, but you get those old cells off and you get those new cells that contain the moisture up and higher into the skin. So we want to use chemical acids and exfoliants. All of our complexes have exfoliating or cell renewing properties in there, be it either AHA or BHAs, or even non-acid based ingredients to help to increase cell renewal. We also have some great peels, which some of you are already using. We have some great options of our pro therapies, Vita peels. We're not going to go into too much focus into that today, but if you would like to review the topics on all our peels, we have a webinar on that. If you haven't had a chance to see it, just email me and I can send that to you. We also want to lock in the moisture, and watch this. Watch this. If you've got a dry skin, you want to use a formula that is a water with oil inside of it. Sorry, it's a water, it's an oil, this is it, an oil molecule with water on the inside. So the larger molecule is oil that encases water. That's for a drier skin. So that's the moisturizer you want to use. And you can ramp those up. If you are dehydrated skin, which is lacking of water, but you don't really want the oil, if you're oily already, you need the water only, you want to use an oil in water formula that's for an oilier skin, but still delivers the water. Whether you're A or B, you need moisture. Your clients absolutely need the moisture. So it's very simple. We want to restore and preserve pH balance, the first line of defense. This is how we achieve the optimal skin health. Plus, we want to prevent moisture evaporation. Everyone's dehydrated. Just being in forced heating air in this room, we've got artificial heat in your car, whether it's summertime with the air conditioning, we're always losing moisture. We always have to be on top of that. It is the missing link. It is so simple to rectify, but sometimes it's just so hard for a client to really acknowledge or understand what that missing link is. That's why we're here. That's why we're here for each other, so that we can build one another's confidence to be able to give our clients informed, adequate, and correct information so that they can make informed decisions on their treatment with you and their retail products. So let's recap, shall we? We want to, number one, use non-stripping cleansers. That's a no-brainer. We also want to pH balance our skin after every time that we introduce water. Every time you're rinsing, you're always going to follow up with, let's shift it back to the acid ideal mantle. Use chemical acids and other maybe non-acid based ingredients that help to cell renew, help to rejuvenate, help to renew and bring off those dead cells to reveal those newer baby, more supple, hydrated skin cells. We all have it, just layers down. So we want to make sure that we just help to bring it up. And this is one of my favorites. Use our complexes daily. Use them morning and night. Use them to ramp up your masks. Use them to ramp up your moisturizers as well. Share that with your clients. And you also want to do deep mask treatments that are going to help to take the skin to the next level. And that's so critical as well. With that being said, remember this skin. I know you couldn't forget because it's just gorgeous, but we are, remember, aiming to hit this target. That's our goal, to hit this sort of skin. So if I could have a drum roll, please, you'd be hearing it right now. This is literally the red carpet to achieving that skin that we just saw. The red carpet to pH balance, and if I've done a training with you, you've heard me say this before, is your crema acida, and followed by the removal with your pH regulatora. The crema acida, both available in professional as well as retail. These two are the dynamic duo, and they are fantastic on the skin. And what you would do is work it in every treatment before you exfoliate, before you extract, before you go into the deep treatment of the mask, serum. You want to optimize the pH, get the line of defense ideal, make sure the skin is receptive for other ingredients. Your crema acida and your pH regulatora is going to idealize the skin's environment so that it will receive what it ought to receive and reject what it ought to reject. I'll tell you, if you've tried Dermo 28 treatments, I actually challenge you, maybe on yourself, not your clients, try one half of your face, do the whole treatment, same thing you're gonna do, mask, exfoliation, peel, whatever, serum, which is your complex, do half with your crema acida and pH regulator first, try it, okay, promise me, do the other half without it, and see how the skin feels at the end. Don't do it on your client. Maybe if it's your husband or wife, okay, you can get away with that, because families kind of just engrafted into being our guinea pigs, we got that. But make sure that you are able to try that to see the difference. This really, ladies and gentlemen, is the red carpet to the treatment. 3 to 4 minutes, work it on the skin, remove it with a cotton gauze. Your pH regulator, remove that and rinse that right off. Then you're ready to go into everything else. Okay, so remember, all skin types, all ages can benefit. Aging, acneic, sensitive, combination, early aging, perfect skin. And you're also going to ensure that male and or female, everybody can benefit. So if I were to have a second drum roll, it would be the second set of red carpet rollout. And that is other nourishing enhancers for skin health. So this is all about hydration and locking in our hydration. So some quick tips as we kind of come to a close. Here you're going to see some of my favorites. Now, some of you may or may not know, but in our Pro lineup only, we have in our Nutriage line, that is our purple and our white line, we have this amazing little vial. It looks like a scientific vial, but it is called your vitamin E and A oil. Can I tell you how incredible this little guy is? You literally would only need to enhance any of your winter treatments. If you're doing winterizing facials, if you're doing winterizing focus treatments, if you're dealing with an aging skin, wrinkles, dryness, pH has been off for however long, you've restored the pH. Now you want to ramp up her mask by going ahead, applying her mask to, selecting your mask, your appropriate mask into your mixing dish. And then you're going to apply 2 to 3, up to 4 drops. I always like to do a little extra, but you really don't need a lot more than that. Once you have done that, and you select your mask. So here, I just happen to have my Nutriage Intensive Vital Mask. So this is going to deeply nourish. I would go ahead now and apply that, mix them together. Once I'm mixing them together, you're going to see, and you won't see it here, but you're going to notice it actually just has more of a creamier base to it. So it's getting a little bit more of a creamier base. And then when you apply it on the skin, it's literally like a cream mousse on the skin. This is infusing your vitamin E, which is tocopherol, healing as well as nourishing. And it also is a rich antioxidant. Vitamin A is your retinol palmitate. It helps to increase cell renewal. It helps to lock in moisture by taking off the dead skin cells in a natural kickstart to cell renewal so that newer cells can show up. And also, it is your quintessential ingredient to anti-aging. We call that your volumizing treatment. Again, anything in Nutriage is absolutely volumizing. So you would keep that mask on. You could even let her do her own little mixture. If she's not necessarily doing it with, obviously, the professional product at home, because she wouldn't have access to that, she can use the retail version of her intensive complex. So we have our professional size intensive complex. She can add her retail into her mask, Vital Mask at home, and she can boost up her own mask for a deep treatment. I love the vitamin E and A oil because it's also a delicious massage cream on the skin, massage oil. Sometimes you want to wake up a devitalized skin that has been dormant for so long because of the harsh climate and the pH alterations. This is a great tool for you. The next three are retail and/or retail and pro. Use complex, love, love, love. That is your retail only. Have your client use that at nighttime. Oh my goodness, my hand's already feeling fantastic. Have your client use the Youth Complex at nighttime, and that's going to give them that deep, hydrating treatment while they sleep. And it's also balancing out the equilibrium of oil and moisture, lipids and moisture in the skin. Recovery Complex, I love this. Professional as well as retail. All of our complexes in the retail look like these beautiful bottles. And just want to remind you that they're so simple to use. When you take the cap off, there's actually an air section that every time you pump, the air is getting tighter and tighter and tighter. So it gives you every single last drop of that product. So your client can rest assured that he or she's getting everything. So this contradicts any irritation, any rawness, any redness, intolerance in the skin as a result of harsh climate. If the skin is off in its pH, or if she has to be kind of nursed back from using her stripping alcohols and her soaps, you might want to start them off with throwing in the Recovery Complex, professional or retail, that's the pink line from Comfort, into her moisturizers, under her moisturizer, into her mask, and underneath her mask as well. Another great one, as I mentioned, Intensive Complex. That's one of our fan favorites as well, okay? So I've left the best, well, not the best, they're all great, but one of my favorites to the close of our time today. Very quick and short, but for deep treatments, professional treatments of hydration, a winterized treatment, something that's really going to help to boost that skin in this fluctuating weather we've been experiencing. The pHs have been off, the moisture, we can't seem to lock on it, so nothing's really helping. This is going to help. The purple is our wrinkle therapy. It is a professional therapy that we teach in our professional category. And remember, everyone, if you've learned it already, just a quick review, these are available sachets that you would use part 1 and part 2 together. So these together give you great results. And part 1 is always a deeply nourishing in the wrinkle therapy, and part 2 is your vitamins. So you've got your nourishing hyaluronic acid and chitosan, which really helps to bind moisture to the skin. Vitamins are in your part 2 to really help to revitalize and bring back to life the skin. You mix them together and you apply them on just like a mask to the skin. There are no acids in these, remember, because we focus on volumizing the skin, deep firming, deep nourishing, deep volumizing to revitalize. But we can't forget the version in aqua. We have other ones as well, but for deep hydration, this is your deep hydration treatment. It will exfoliate with lactic glycolic acid as well as your mandelic acid to increase elasticity, locks in moisture, and oh my goodness, it improves the radiance. We actually have some before and after pictures done in the laboratory in Italy untouched pictures. Some of you might have seen it if you've watched any previous webinars, that there is a before and after 28 days, 3 treatments with aquatherapy and home care. What a difference. Normal combination skin, the radiance is wow. So it really does speak volumes, and you want to be able to offer solutions to your clients, not only as you're working on them, but show them what they can do at home. So what would be the home version of this? You better believe it's the home therapy. It's the aqua home therapy. They can do a home peel care kit. And that is going to be a 1-month treatment, or if they can stretch it out, they can stretch it out to 2 months, and it helps to recover the skin. Ladies and gentlemen, I love to position these treatments as tools at the close of a season or the beginning of another season. So as we're approaching Valentine's Day, and I'm already into spring mode, it's coming around the corner, start to think, how can you adjust your menus in your offerings? How can you promote yourself online? How can you promote some fresh seasonal menu treatments coming up this particular season change? Get creative, get out of the box, and remember that Dermo 28 offers you diversification and customizable tools for you to be able to offer your clients the best that you possibly can. So I've said a lot, but I hope you were taking notes. That's okay if you didn't. You can always replay this. I want to challenge you to put these tips into practice in your space. How can you take a seat back and look from the periphery of your treatment menu and see it with fresh eyes? Maybe banter a few things off of one another, an old colleague that you went to school with, or a friend or family member, and find out how you can refresh. Dermo 28 has the tools for you, and we want to remember that it all boils down to you educating your client. Educate them on the importance of the missing link. When they get the pH and the hydration riddle down, when they've solved that because you've helped them solve it, they're yours for life, because they've seen and they will see ongoing results. And they will also want to inquire with you for further concerns. So now you can take them from the building block of basic skincare to intermediate, then to more advanced, and you can see them through that journey evolution. And that's really what we're all about here, taking our clients from their evolution to great skin, optimizing skin health that's ideal for them in the age that they're at. So everyone, I want to thank you for your time. This was a short but sweet, hope so, for you webinar. Our next one is February 29th. It will include a full demonstration, but it's all about tips and tricks. If you want to remember and go back into other webinars, take a look at them. We cover a whole slew and a plethora of other topics to be able to anchor this topic that we covered today a little bit more succinctly for you and to prepare you for others. If there's anything that you need from me, remember, I'm just an email away, Charmaine@dermo28.ca, and also you can always reach me here. Okay, so I look forward to connecting with you again. And if you need training, if you need any type of questions answered, just let me know and we can work something out. Have an amazing rest of your day, and we'll see you at the next webinar. Bye.